Halo, Ci. Hey there, I'm just your ordinary, introverted digital artist who does pixel art, 2D art, and 3D modeling. In this video, I'll be talking about how you could improve your art when you're stuck or unmotivated. I've been involved with art for more than 14 years, and I've spent more than 10 years self-teaching myself. I have my own on and off days too, or even years. So this is a list of things that have helped me improve myself and things that I wish I knew when I was younger. Huh? I often see young artists who struggle with their art, and whenever they ask the question, how can I improve myself? Most of the answers would be practice. Just the word practice. Like, gee, thanks, I didn't know that. I mean, yes, practice does make you better, but what practice generally is muscle memory. The more you draw something, the better you get at it, and the faster you'll be able to draw it. But before you can start drawing, you need to know what that something is. And what I mean by that is, before you start drawing, you need to understand the subject that you'll be drawing, not only know how it looks. When we first learn to doodle, we usually draw things that we see with our eyes. I, for example, like drawing people, so my first drawings were of weird females with 5 to 6 sausage fingers in each hand, and very pointy high heels, unproportionate face, like, what was even proportion? Everything was all over the place, but visually, you could still understand that that was a female, and also some sort of human being because the big forms were there. They have 2 arms, they stand on 2 legs, they have a head and a long hair. If you saw a drawing like that, immediately you would say that person needs to learn human anatomy and proportion. And once that person has some sort of knowledge on human anatomy and proportions, they start practicing and only practice. And then they hit the wall of, I'm practicing so much but I'm not improving. Well, the first thing I would suggest for you is revisit the basics and learn the fundamentals. You should never skip those steps if you want to improve. Knowledge is as important as muscle memory. They go hand in hand. We tend to enjoy drawing more than learning. We like taking action more than just reading. And that is the main reason as to why you're not improving. Some sort of knowledge is not enough to do good art. You need to dig deeper into it. For example, for illustration, you need to know color theory, perspective, shape language, rule of thirds, and so on and so forth. To draw faces better, aside from proportions, you need to understand the head planes, for example. If you're struggling drawing hands, that's mostly because you don't understand how the bones or muscles of the hands work. So the basics and fundamentals are very important. The second thing you could do to improve your art is to look at tutorials, speed paints, live streams, or go to workshops and learn from an art teacher. You can look at various art tutorials on Pinterest, DeviantArt, Instagram, Pixiv, or even books, and you usually find things that you never knew about. Speed paints and live streams are great because you get to see others' art process, and you can also take a little bit of here and there from them to implement into your own art process, for example, brushes and tools. Workshops or learning directly from an art teacher can actually help you a lot because they will tell you exactly what to learn and you don't have to look it up yourself. This is one of the things that I regret not doing when I was younger because I always thought that I needed to go to an actual art school to be able to learn from an art teacher, but it's 2022. There are a bunch of art teachers out there now who teach you online and face-to-face on camera, or they create courses you can buy, download, and follow along. The third thing off the list is to expose yourself to more art and analyze them. Don't be an artist who only looks at their own artwork or looks at artwork that they only like and know about. For example, if you like the anime art style, don't just look at only anime drawings, but explore other styles. For example, look at semi-realism or even abstract art. And analyze their work. Don't just look at them for a second and then go to the next. But pay attention to their brushstrokes, placement of things, color choices, and so on and so forth. By exposing yourself to more art, you are learning about what else art can offer and what else you can implement into your own work, and eventually you'll be able to create your own unique art style. Trying to copy a certain type of art style is also a great practice which helps you figure out what might work for you and what does not. The fourth is a little bit obvious, but sometimes we ignore it, and it's working from references and collecting references. Most of you probably don't have a second monitor or are working on a tablet, and so you just probably search the things you don't know how to draw, you skim through it real quick, and then get back to drawing. Or you use only 1 to 2 reference photos. When you're looking for reference photos, don't stop when you have already found the one you need, because chances are you might find additional images that will inspire you even further or will be helpful for you in the future. If you find something interesting, always save it on your Pinterest or folders so that you can look at them later. What I found useful for myself is to have at least 5 photo references I can look at while drawing, and I also have additional folders on my computer for inspirational purposes, studies, poses, and such. When you don't have enough space to lay out your reference photos on your screen, you can always print them out and hang them on the wall, or have the references on your phone or other device. And then there's also the option of splitting your workspace or creating a new hidden layer with all the reference photos. I'll be talking further about how you can lay out your references in another video. The fifth thing on the list is asking for feedbacks or critiques from not any person, but from the right person. When you ask your friends or family, hey, what you think about my art? Most of the answers you get are, it's awesome, I like it, or it's really good, can you draw me too? Those responses will make you happy, but they're actually not useful for you. And if anything, they do you more harm than you think. Because when people praise you, it also increases your ego. And you get this sense that my art is great, I don't need to change anything. Some artists may get offended when I say this because they're used to being praised, and when they get a negative comment, they just choose to ignore it. So, who should you ask for feedback and critiques? The best art critiques are usually, well, art teachers, because their answers are more professional and they know and understand art more than you do. But who else can you ask if you don't know any art teachers? Well, you could join Facebook groups or Discord servers where people share their artwork, or ask in Reddit. Now, most of the answers you get there are also either you need more practice or it looks great, I don't have anything else to add. But you do occasionally still find people who are able to give proper feedback. A proper feedback is one where the viewer tells you what they like about your artwork or what works in it, and then they tell you the things you could fix, add, or consider how and why. I'm also offering personal art critiques to my coffee sub, starting at $7 a month. I'd love to give you free feedbacks on your artwork, but I need to earn money, and also knowledge and experience can't always be given for free. And finally, the last thing on this list is simply to take a break. If you're working too much, you enter a state of burnout. You feel exhausted, you can't find motivation in anything, and that affects your artwork. So when you feel like that, take some time off drawing, read some manga, or watch anime, or play games and meet up with friends. Just chill and relax and let your brain restart. I said earlier that I had my on and off days, and even years. I had a moment in my life when I just didn't want to draw anymore because I felt stuck and unmotivated because I saw no improvements in my artworks, and I didn't even know what my art style was. Looking at other people doing awesome art can be sometimes depressing. You want to be as good as them, but at the same time, you don't know how to get there. I personally didn't draw much for probably a year or two, and that was when I decided that I should continue doing art, but just not drawing. And that's when I started learning 3D modeling and, well, other stuff at my art school. And now that I'm back to drawing my own things and finding my own art style, I feel great and more confident in myself as an artist because I learned and I did the previous steps mentioned in this video in the past 5 years. Becoming great with art takes time, patience, hard work, and dedication. It's not something that happens right away, and once you lose your interest in art, remind yourself why you got involved with it in the first place. When you see a younger artist than you doing an amazing job, don't feel jealous and downgrade yourself, but rather be competitive. Let them serve as your motivation to do better and also strive to be greater than them. And that was it for 6 things you can do if your art is not improving. Stay safe, positive, and creative. Bye!